Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Please consider subscribing to my channel. And today I wanted to show you 5 fragrances from my collection that when I got them, I have to admit I wasn't super crazy about them. I liked them, otherwise I wouldn't have gotten them in the first place, but they just didn't knock my socks off. They were the fragrances that were okay, and I placed them in the category of like everyday fragrance, easy grab, easy going, nice fragrance. But now, the more I use them, the more I understand that these fragrances have much more than that. They have a good potential, and I love them, and I find myself reaching for them more and more every day. So I appreciate them being in my collection, actually. So I'm gonna start with one that is actually a limited edition. It's a Emporio Armani, and this is In Love With You Freeze. And you can see I've used this fragrance quite a bit. It's a limited edition. You can still find it, and the particularity of this fragrance is that the notes of this fragrance are kind of your classic notes. They have mandarin orange, cherry, bergamot, pear, peony, jasmine sambac, lily of the valley, patchouli, woody notes, white musk, and vetiver. So I have to say that I appreciate it being without the rose, because I find it extremely hard to find an everyday fruity floral fragrance without the presence of the rose. So this one doesn't have rose, and I love it. And what I like about this, you have cherry here. I love cherry, but this is a fragrance that is like it might be like it's seemingly very feminine, right? But when you spray it on, you understand that it's actually a very beautiful, very cool, flowery unisex fragrance. It is not sweet, it's just a little bit of fruits and a lot of flowers, but they kind of gender bender flowers. Very beautiful, very very nice, limited edition. And I am really sorry to have to say, you guys, that it's limited edition, because this is a beautiful one, a beautiful fragrance. It's very aromatic, and then it stays on you. So I'm really pleased with this fragrance. And in general, I have to say, when this brand came out with In Love With You, Stronger With You line, I was like, well, yeah, it's one of those fragrances that will come and go unnoticed. But then they started coming out with the flankers, and the flankers I actually enjoyed more than the original one. I do have one more fragrance from this line, actually. So next fragrance is the fragrance that I was struggling with it, actually, because it had lavender, and in the beginning of this lavender craze, I did have a couple of lavender fragrances that I loved, but then the majority of lavender fragrances that I was tested in between, like between the two fragrances that I loved with lavender, one of them being by it's called By, and it's by Dolce Gabbana. So it's Dolce Gabbana By, and then it was an amazing lavender fragrance, and then it was a beautiful fragrance by Versace, which is no longer available. And then in between, a lot of lavender fragrances that I've tested, they were really really cold, really really masculine, really like scratchy on me, so I didn't like it. And then I tried this one, well, the original of this one, and we are talking about Guerlain, and we are talking about the fragrance that is called Mon Guerlain, and this is Bloom of Rose, and this is the eau de toilette version, because they also have an eau de parfum. I don't really like eau de parfum. The eau de toilette, in my opinion, is better. So we have here citruses, lavender, neroli, Bulgarian rose, jasmine sambac, Tahitian vanilla, and sandalwood. This is an most amazing fragrance. It is very light. It has this light and beautiful aromatic, slightly aromatic lavender, and this is an easy reach, easy to use, and oh my gosh, it's very elegant. It's just an elegant fragrance, and thanks to this one, well, I fell in love with lavender thanks to Dolce Gabbana and Versace. But then, for the longest period, I wasn't a fan of lavender, and then this one made me to understand that actually, again, yet again, they make a very beautiful lavender fragrances. So this one is beautiful. This one is very, very nice. And I have to say though, I'm not a big fan of the original, of the Mont Guerlain, the first one. I know I find it a bit too much for me in the lavender area. So next fragrance is the fragrance that, this is not a new fragrance. This is a fragrance that is oldie but goodie, and I was fluctuating between getting this fragrance and not getting this fragrance. I love this line. This is Versace, this is Bright Crystal, and this is a fragrance that is, it's very easy, it's easy grab, easy reach, but it's impactful. You see, there's nothing complex about this fragrance, but when you have this fragrance on, it kind of, it makes you it gets you together, you know, it gives this beautiful aura around you, and it's very feminine, it's very beautiful. So it has yuzu, pomegranate, it has ice note, peony, lotus, magnolia, musk, mahogany, and amber. And again, it doesn't have rose, which I appreciate. And this is yet again an manifestation of the fact that you can actually make pretty feminine fragrances without having a big oily rose in it. And some may say that it's quite a simple fragrance. It is simple fragrance, but not all beautiful fragrances have to be really complex. So this is a beautiful fragrance, and I love the fragrance of the coconut, which is another crystal. So I'm actually looking at it, and yeah, and there's another crystal fragrance in this collection, which is yellow, and it has a very bright note of mimosa that I don't really like. But this one is beautiful, and yeah, I just can't imagine my collection without it. This is if I want to feel and look more feminine, I would reach for this one, and trust me, this is just a magnet for people. They just they like being around you when you smell like it. So next one, and this is a fragrance that I wasn't a fan, I have to tell you, and I actually made a review about this fragrance. It's not that I wasn't a fan, it's when this fragrance came out, I was like, why would they make yet another fragrance like that? Because this is type of a fragrances that you have a lot of them on the market, and it's not an outstanding fragrance. But then not every fragrance has to be outstanding, every fragrance that hits the market, right? So kind of in time I reevaluated my opinion about this fragrance. So I'm talking about this one, and don't mind the packaging. The packaging is limited edition, but the fragrance is not. This is the Emily in Paris, and this is Lancome Idole. So this is their classic fragrance, Lancome Idole, and I like it. I like it very much. So it has pear, bergamot, it has Turkish rose, it has May rose, Indian jasmine, white musk, and vanilla. Luckily for me, the rose is present, but it's not giving me headache. It's not giving me hard times, I have to tell you. I kind of enjoy this fragrance. So it's your classic, this fruity floral, very light, very feminine, but oh my gosh, it stays on the skin, it stays put on the skin. But then again, I make a lot of sprays, but then again it stays like from the beginning till the evening, and people compliment me on this fragrance. Beautiful every day, wherever you go. This is a time and a place for this fragrance. Like, you go to work, this is the time for it. You go to study, this is time for it. You go to meet your girlfriends, perfect. You go to have shopping, to do some shopping, to do some grocery shopping, perfect. So this is this kind of a passepartout fragrance that I like and that suits me, and I really don't know how would I be, not like how would I be without this fragrance, but definitely my collection wouldn't be so complete for me, because this is one of the fragrances that I can pack this with me and like go for the whole week, and I will be wearing this fragrance and I will be never ever tired of it. And actually this can be said about every single fragrance that I have on my table. So we reached the final fragrance, and this, I guess this one is my biggest kind of from, well, yeah, yet another fragrance to the love. I love this fragrance now, and it took me from January, because this fragrance was launched in January. It took me from January up until like maybe 3 4 months, and I realized how beautiful this fragrance is. Not only because people were commenting on how beautiful I smell, but also because when I had it on me, I was very comfortable in it. And when I didn't have it on me, and when I was thinking what I should put on me, very often I would think about this fragrance, and this is an indication, a clear indication for me that this is a beautiful fragrance. So we are talking about Valentino Green Stravaganza, and this is the fragrance that has Lapsang Souchong tea, jasmine, and vanilla. So I do have this fragrance in two different bottles. So I have this one, which is a small one, which is 15 ml, and it was in my project pan actually. I'm aiming to get it out of the project pan because it have been there for 2 months now, and I do have a bigger bottle, because as soon as I realized that I love this fragrance, and I realized that I'm coming too fast to the end of the bottle, I got this one, and oh my gosh, this is a beautiful one. And again, there's nothing extraordinary about this fragrance, but then it makes you feel very nice. It makes you feel clean and polished and prep and prime, and it's like it's beautiful. It has this green note, it has this flowery note, and then it's sweet, but it's not overly sweet, it's not cloying. It's like a beautiful company for you for the whole day. So it's green and fruity, and then it's sweet but not very, and then it's flowery but not overly. So it's just a perfect combination, in my opinion. I have to tell you, I have reached the conclusion that before this one, my favorite fragrance from this Valentino line was Yellow Dream, which is the fragrance, a pretty easy fragrance that has rose. It has also white musk and lemon, um, and it was my favorite one out of the bunch. But now I think that this is my favorite one out of the whole Born in Roma line. So yeah, these are the fragrances that I enjoy. These are the fragrances that I have changed my opinion on. I I was considering them to be like you come and you go kind of fragrance, but then I understand that these are fragrances that have they have earned their place in my collection, and I enjoy using them, and when I don't use them for some time, I miss them. So yes, these are the 5 fragrances that I have. Do you have this kind of fragrances? Do you have the fragrances that you, if you don't use them, you kind of start missing them? Please let me know if you do. And in the meantime, I wish you a beautiful day. I wish you a beautiful Wednesday, and I will see you on Sunday. Goodbye.